Hello, everybody. Welcome to a live stream. It's been a while. My name's John Skippy Limcool. Welcome. This is going to be fun. I've just spent 15 days in Costa Rica with my daughter, and I'm back. And I realized real quickly along the way that I was in really cool, unique places with very few people around. And so I had brought along my handy dandy field recorder. This is the Tascam, what do we call this? The DR100 Mark III. And I had purchased in the past a DR100 Mark II. And Robert Dudzik, who's an amazing sound designer, said, no, you need the Mark III. They've done some improvements. The limiter on it, we can overdrive and it's going to still sound great. 192 kilohertz audio, you got to get it. And so he actually connected me up with Tascam and they sent me that for free. So I totally endorse and really enjoy Tascam at this point. This is a really killer field recorder. So my goal in this is I'm going to take you guys along on the trip and show you sounds because I took a lot of photographs. We're doing zip lines. We're doing night walks where you're going to see crazy insects, incredible waterfalls, just unbelievable. And I had my field recorder with me. So I'm going to share with you some of the sounds. This is not a library per se yet. It's just, oh, you know what? I actually have to do something really quick. You guys are going to have to hang out because I did some updates and I forgot to fix them because I've been doing the graphics and all the other stuff. Hey, Big E. I see all the good names in the list. Guys, welcome. So good to see you. It's been a while, huh? Now, I want to let you know there will not be a live stream next week. I'm going to be seeing family in Montana and Idaho. I have a reunion to go to and stuff like that. So I will be there instead of here on Saturday. So this is the only live stream for now. Next week off, then we'll be back to a more regular schedule once we get closer to like school season starting and summer ending. It's just, you know, there's a lot of stuff happening in summer and I like hanging out with you guys and sharing this stuff. And when I can, I do. And when I can't, I can't, you know? So let's see here. Let me do this really quick. Steam. I'm going to do this on the side so you don't see exactly what's going on, but I need to redo the audio importing of this folder. So we go over here. If you have wondered about importing audio into Omnisphere, it's pretty straightforward and easy. Just got to make sure that you've hit this little refresh button right here. I don't have any waveforms selected, so I don't have any problems there. I'm going to just choose something clear, different. And then this audio folder has 53 at the moment audio files from my trip. There will actually probably be more than this that I create. And then there's all sorts of other things planned to do to this audio. It will not be just a straight ahead library. I will guarantee you that. There will be a straight ahead side of it, but there will also be another side of it that I'm not even going to talk about yet. Good to see everybody. Everybody's putting down their lists. It's so cute. Good to be back. Yeah. So, oh, there's a little clue of what we're going to hear. So, how do you start this? I mean, this was such a crazy trip. I took pictures and I have video to show of along the way. So let's start with my daughter's 17. And we'd been to Hawaii a couple times. And we both agreed we wanted something a little bit more, even more nature, less commercial, big hotels. The shows with somebody jumping into the lagoon at sunset with, you know, tiki drums playing. We wanted something more legit and like real. And if you do a little bit of research, you notice really quickly that there's this place called Costa Rica. And here, check this out. Let's go Earth. The thing that's cool about Costa Rica, I don't know. Deny. I don't want to share my information with you guys. The thing that's cool about Costa Rica is right here. Hello, zoom in, please. Right here is Costa Rica. North America and South America developed geographically, all that stuff. This came late to the game. Central America, this bridge came late to the game. And Costa Rica, when it was finally evolved and up, it became a melting point of all these insects and birds and animals and reptiles from North America and South America. And so this little country has some of the most pristine rainforests. The creatures there's not a lot of people. There's a central area. Let's see. We need to get centered here. So here's San Jose is like the epicenter where all the people are. In the middle of, it's more higher, so it's not quite so humid and so forth. And then there's this coastline on the Caribbean side. There's a really cool volcano up here. There's a Pacific side. So what we did is our goal was to fly from Los Angeles, way up here, down to Costa Rica. And in order to do that from Portland, Oregon, we first had to start in Portland and take a flight to Los Angeles and spend the night in Los Angeles. And we spent the night in Los Angeles in a little tiny, well, not tiny, but like a Super 8 hotel. And the unique quality of this hotel is that it was directly over the landing strips for LAX. So it was not very quiet. We went to Santa Monica Pier. We hung out with some crazy characters, as you can see. And that night, I went and got us Panda Express and came back. And then I went out for like, 45 minutes or so. And I recorded airplanes landing because they were right in front of me. The sound is unbelievable of these airplanes. I'm like, I'm going to try to capture them. So to start the trip, to start this library is going to have these. And I recorded everything with this amazing little recorder at 192 kilohertz. And then I have since, love that. I have since sample rate converted it to 48 kilohertz for Omnisphere. But when you play, even down low, the sound of this is just unbelievable. So I've only got 2 imported at this point. There's actually more than that I have recorded still to acquire and add to this. But airplanes landing. So that was the first, I mean, yes, we're getting into crazy nature in a minute, but that's what we had to see and record first in Los Angeles. The next morning we got up, we actually rented a car because it was cheaper than trying to do Ubers to get around in LA to do that. And we rented a car, returned it to the rental car, got a free ride to the airport. 8:30, we hopped on an airplane and we flew all the way down to Costa Rica. And what we did, my first destination, I used Airbnb for everything. I didn't stay in any hotels. We stayed in houses that are owned and lived by people. There's so many advantages to that. If you're going to foreign countries, it's the way to do it. Because these people have lived there, they will share information, which is just invaluable for your experience going to some other country, right? And one thing that Troy, who had this amazing house right here in Cahuita, and for the whole trip, I didn't say Cahuita right, it's Cahuita, and I said Cajita, because the H becomes a W. But this is a fairly decent drive, all the way up to here to Limon, all the way through here, all the way through actually like a national park area to get into San Jose. And Troy said, I highly suggest having a driver come pick you up and drive you to my place. So that way you don't have to deal with getting out of San Jose. You don't have to deal with renting a car. You don't have to deal with the horrible exchange rates. Do that when you get to where you're at. The exchange rates are better. So we took a driver and he drove us, and it freaked us out because the driving in Costa Rica, they've talked about this. It is truly insane. Cars are going down the road. There's a truck going 20 miles an hour in front of you that cars are trying to pass. There's motorcycles on both sides of you going by you. It was crazy. And so we were really happy to hop in a car and get a ride from a really nice guy. He didn't speak any English, so I had Translate on my phone, and I would put in my words in English, and it would turn it into a thing I could hang up that would be Spanish so he could read. So we had a nice conversation as we drove. And we ended up over here in Cahuita. Now, Cahuita is a very small little town, almost like a village. This is all it is, right? And we had to walk this road to get over here to this area to where we stayed, about right here. Right off from what's known as Playa Negro. And what's interesting with this area is there's this separated little city town part, and right here starts not a Negro beach, but a Blanca beach. And this leads into a national park. There's monkeys and all sorts of animals. Like, this is the Cahuita National Park, so it's a really cool place to hang out. So we got in late at night, so we didn't get to see the place till the following morning. But the place, let's see if I go to this page. This is where we stayed. It's almost like a barn. There's things are super thin there. A tin roof, right? There's a sloth that lives in this tree. There's howler monkeys over in these trees that woke us up every morning. And it's rainy season, so it rained all of the time. So, let me share with you a couple more pictures. Well, here, this is a walkthrough of the house. So it's a cute house. Go upstairs. This is where I was hanging out. And at 4 in the morning, I would go out and record the ambiences. This deck is really beautiful. Got the hammock. My daughter just hanging out. But this is where we were for our first 4 days. So we had incredible pancakes, really cool shops. That's the deck. Field recorder, we went to the national park and I recorded the ocean. So let me show you, instead of by pictures, I'll play some sounds from here. So this is Cahuita. Let's start with just an ambience. That's the sound of the ocean in the background. There's no one around. I mean, guys, I know pristine audio and I know, and what's cool with these, again, transposing even down. Super cool, otherworldly instead of natural. This is the sound we heard in the mornings when we woke up. Little light rain, bugs, birds, and monkeys. And again, everything transposes so beautifully. So when these get added with pads, I'm going to do all sorts of audio sound design stuff to these samples. This is just the raw source, nothing done to it. This is straight out of the recorder. Then the rain. That's on the roof from inside the house. It's from outside. And again, transpose it down 3 octaves. It's just really cool stuff. Dusk with all the bugs. And you hear that little bell clicking sound? That's actually a frog. Yeah, the metallic sound is rain on the roof. So that tin roof became a big part of the sound. Isn't that beautiful? So these are like 20 seconds long. It's not like they're little snippets that are looped. It's just to give you an idea, if we wanted to, we could go to layer B really quickly. Let's go to, say, sine. So this will give us some nice, even like. So, if you're into sound design with nature, it's something coming in the future is going to be really cool for that. Right? So let's keep going on the trip. So the ocean. What are you using to record everything? I'm simply using a Tascam DR100 Mark III. 192 kilohertz. It has a limiter. It actually has 2 different sets of microphones. I'm using the forward-facing microphones. The converters on this are unbelievable. Robert Dudzik, my buddy, said, you got to try this. You will not believe how good this sounds for what it is. He uses this a lot for his field recordings. It's got XLR inputs on the bottom of it in case you want to use preamps and use Rode microphones or something else besides the ones that are built in. But I just used this. And I have, this didn't come with this one. This came with my Mark II, but I would set it on this to give it some insulation. I'd bring if I were you, I would suggest like a rubber pad or something, because these rubber feet stop some things. But if you put it on wood, I'm having to EQ out some low frequencies here and there because of resonance that would translate into the recordings. But it's nothing major or anything like that. So the ocean, that picture I showed you, the ocean, it sounds like this. And I have, because we hit the Caribbean and the Pacific, there's quite a few different ocean ambiances. Again, super low. It's a really beautiful noise sound. Add some EQ and you have, you know. There's another sound I got to show you just because it was fun. So I was recording at like 3 in the morning. This crazy, the rain in the house. This here, is it this one? No, this is outside. I love this one. Just rain. Isn't that beautiful? But the rain on the roof, I was inside the house recording it right up against the tin. Right? Well, if you notice, there's actually a refrigerator noise, and I kept waiting for the darn thing to turn off. It wouldn't, so I decided to record it. So we have... And again, take it down a couple octaves, and you have the inside hull of any space movie. You know. Captain. The Klingons seem to be joining and going up with the Borg. We've got problems. What are we going to do? Well, let's go out there and blow them up. I mean, it's awesome. Awesome ambiences. So Costa was amazing. the dusk I showed you guys, right? Just the ambience, the life. I mean, I came back here to Portland, and the sound at night here, there's no crickets. It's like dead land compared to what we had for 2 weeks. It's been a bit of a shell shock to get used to that, actually. So, Cajita was just a wonderful place. It really was like, let's see, beautiful. We actually went and look at, this is the electrical grid. That's what everything is connected to. It's like, really? That was a sloth hanging out on a power line. He's okay. But a lot of them hang on out on the power lines and get shocked and die. And so we went down south of us to a place called Port Viejo. By the way, every town, no matter how small, has a soccer field and a church. That's the two requirements for every town in all of South America, it seems, in Central America. This is a beautiful tree. Look at the, I mean, if you open this up and zoom in, there's actually an amazing, just the detail is just beautiful. And I don't know how, but I did some sort of cool effect by wherever there's white, the light is coming through. It's the spirit of the tree shining through or something like that. So it's just really captivating. This is one of those trees that the monkeys were hanging out in. So let's see, we did a bus ride to this rescue reserve that rescues sloths and monkeys and birds and all sorts of animals. And this is one of the sloths that they've rescued that's just outside climbing on a tree. It's so beautiful, beautiful light on him. We went inside. These are about to be released to be free. There's parrots, little monkeys. These are the baby sloths who just lost their parents. There's like 8 of them that were hanging on this little branch area and crawling, and just the cutest, sweetest thing. So it was really fun to see them. This is a wildcat, one of the 4 or 5 wildcat species that are down there. This one's not afraid of humans, so he can't be released back into the wild. He has to stay there and just be a resident. They had those crocodiles. That's a caiman, actually. Somebody, I believe, had rented a boat, didn't know how to drive it, and crashed it. There we are on the beach in Puerto Viejo. So beautiful. Good time. Somebody built a gym out of, interesting, if you zoom in on this, the things used to make this gym. Bicycle tires. And cement. So they had weight to them. And it was really funny when I took this picture. I don't think they're in the picture, but right over here to the right were these 3 guys that were giving me thumbs up for taking a picture of their gym. So I thought it was pretty cool. Let's see what else we got here. This was a rather interesting animal. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's like a mix of 2 or 3 other animals. Centipedes hanging out in a twist. So that was our time in Cahuita, and it was by far the most closest to nature that we got on the trip, I think. I mean, we were really connected. It was amazing. What we did, there's this really cool company, Exploradors, that offers a really cool service in that here we are down in the Caribbean. Our next destination was all the way up here at a volcano up here. Where's Arenal? Arenal, where are you? Quesada, so it's over here. Oh, here it is, up here. La Fortuna. So let me mark a pin right here. See if we drop a pin so you can see. So we're going to end up here in La Fortuna. And the place we end up at, believe it or not, has this unbelievable view. We're like right on this road. How do we get out there? It's like, that's not La Fortuna proper. La Fortuna is right here. And then we're out this crazy road and out here. We're about right here. And so we have this head-on view of this volcano. But to get there, we're way down here in Cahuita. Okay, so let's say make another pin for Cahuita. Okay. So how are we going to get from here to here? Turns out there's this bus, and they have buses that hang out and start in La Fortuna. There's buses that start in San Jose, and there's buses that start south of us. And they all drive north, and they meet up here. Where at? Somewhere in this area. I'm just going to mark it like somewhere in here. And everybody gets off their bus. Oh, screw this. This is in this basic area somewhere in here. Everybody gets off their bus at this place. And everybody gets into rafts and does a whitewater rafting down level 3, level 4 tier water. And it was insane. You've been on a bus for 2.5 hours. You get on a silly raft and you're doing this. So I got to be one of the leads. Hannah's right behind me. Here we go, doing. I mean, we didn't fall off. None of us fell off from our raft. People fell off from other rafts. We helped rescue people at times. But it was insane. It was just a great, great experience. And then when you're done with this rafting, halfway through you have lunch. Then you raft for another hour. After lunch, and you get back to rafting back to where you end up at, which is down here somewhere. It's a 4-hour rafting ride. You can hop on one of the other vans and continue, instead of back to Cahuita, on to La Fortuna. So that's what we did. We took off and we ended up by doing that up here in La Fortuna at this really cool house. Let me show you. Let's see, go to the name. Do I have, I think I have, did I do that? I didn't do the drive. I got some other stuff I could look to find. Oh, this is maybe the drive. The roads, they're insane. Oh, this is, no, that's, we'll get there in a minute. Maybe this. Yeah, this is the deck of this house. Field recorder, recording the ambience. Those huge palms, when the rain hits them, is unbelievable. We had really cool birds. We would set papaya out there for them to eat and feed on. There's the volcano right in front of us. And let me play you some ambiences from La Fortuna. By the way, in 1968, this volcano erupted. It erupted going the other direction, but this town wasn't destroyed. It's not necessarily true, but they changed the name of the city to La Fortuna, partly because they survived the volcano. And for like years and years, my souvenir is this painting that's got a glowing top of the mountain, because the volcano would be smoking and erupting and there would be glow for many, many, many years. It's not doing that now, and it was rainy season, so we only got to see the top of it a handful of times. It's pretty amazing. But the ambiences of here are just... like, so pristine. So if nothing else, just a lot of people go, well, how do you use these? I mean, to start with, you could just record this. Let's do this. Right? And they loop. They're seamless for the most part. I haven't perfected them at this point because it's just building the raw source and converting it and all that kind of stuff. But we could say this could be on MIDI channel 1. And then let's say make MIDI channel 2. And this is not urban. This is Costa Rica. By the way, I am working on OMG for Omnisphere 2. I'll show you some of that maybe towards the end if we want to play with that a little. I'm taking my time. I want this to be really kick butt when it's done. But check this out. So if you go to part 2, oh, I don't have a lot of my sounds loaded up, but we could say even something like, even from the Keyscape Creative or the Keyscape Library, we could use like mellow. It's loading. But writing to ambiences is a really lovely thing to do. So, and let's go to and go to the parameters, because we're inside of Omnisphere, so we could add a reverb to this. So if you have I mean, it's just automatic, immediate, you know, beauty land. So we could say pad. Part 2. Part 3. It's really cool to have ambience to work with just like that before we start getting into the tricky programming and all that stuff. Yeah, perfect massage. Yes, there's a massage album for calm, relaxing, all that kind of stuff. Immediately available by doing it with this type of stuff. But we're going to make it so it does far more than that before this is all done. There's going to be stuff for dance people and all sorts of stuff. There's all sorts of stuff I have planned and thought about in my head that I need to turn into reality. But the ambiences are just beautiful. When you get to the rain, we actually had a thunderstorm that went over our head. So here's General Rain and Birds. Morning rain on our final day in La Fortuna. This is what it sounds like, by the way, when you're making, if you have a field recorder, I highly recommend talking at the beginning to say where you are, what your conditions are, what's being recorded. At least something, so you know. Morning rain on our final day in La Fortuna. Right, you hear me moving around, getting all set. And then I took my hands off and stood back and didn't move and made this. So by saying ahead of time, that helps me know what to kind of name this and where I am. You know, a lot of times you're going to end up with a whole bunch of recordings and they're all just numbers because you didn't take the time to name them, which you can do, but I never do. You know, if you look at my master folder of all the audio files, check this out. I'll share a little bit more of my voicing stuff here. So here's the library in audio format that I recorded from the trip, right? And each one of these, if you open up Cahuita, this is the name of the audio files. And if I'm just to select these and say get information, you will see if I used it to make a sound, I put the name of the sound into the notes up here so that these weren't used because those were the jets and stuff like that, right? But if you go down here to these, this is where we started getting into the different ambiences. Early morning, that's number 28. Cahuita, rain on the roof. So I would name them, I would copy the exact name that I'm using for the files into the little note/tag area of the file area so that I could be able to remember them and know where this audio file is connected to. So it's not the most organized, but it's organized enough that I can survive. I know where I am at and I know what's going on. So that's kind of the goal game plan with that stuff. Some of the other things we saw, we did, this is beautiful canopy. We did a what's called the hanging bridges, which are basically you're just hanging over the rainforests. and able to look down and just see the beautiful shapes and everything of them. I mean, it's a really cool place. Just so beautiful. This is maybe my favorite photo of the trip, me and my kid. We had the best time traveling together. She's great to travel with, and so it's incredible. Hummingbirds. Just so happens that at this house, the gentleman that lives there and owns it, D'Angelo, he has like 4 of these feeders. They start full in the morning, and at 6:30, it's empty. By the way, in Costa Rica, 6 o'clock, the sun starts to set. By 6:30, it's pitch black. Totally black at 6:30 every day. Just because of where it is on the equator to the angling of the sun. So you got that kind of stuff. But check this out. Listen to this. Those hummingbirds, I didn't know this. They are very territorial. And so I actually have video, I believe. And instead of, you can't hear this audio anyhow, but I'll play audio to match what's going on in a minute. Check this out. Hear that squawking? Their wings are beating 700 times a second. And they would come up and like test and make sure somebody's not going to argue, and then 2 of them would show up at once. And down low you get Flipper. Isn't that cool? Like I said, it rained like crazy rain. This is an example of the rain. And I'll play audio to go along with this. And it would rain like this for like 45 minutes. I mean, just... There's gentle rain. Here's your insane rain. With thunder. I mean, it was so cool to be on this deck. It is coming down like a shower all around. Here's monster thunder. Again, this is totally overdriving. The level is just massive because it's right overhead. And the audio quality of that thunder, listen if you transpose it down. I think it falls apart a little. That still sounds cool. Right? There's gentle rain and thunder. Mornings have roosters crowing. And bugs. Oh, here's the roosters. Crowing are all around us. Yeah, it's awesome to record a thunderstorm, but you have to be in the right place. I was covered and not in the middle of it. But we watched the thunder and the lightning strikes get closer and closer until it was basically overhead. It's just insane. Frogs. And I can show you this while showing you some rather interestingly cool photos. We did a nighttime walk, which I highly recommend. That is the coolest way to go because you will, this is a jumping spider, poisonous. And he was like 2 feet away from my daughter. She just turned her head like this way and there it was. And we're like, oh, back up from that. But we went with a guide and he took us so we could see all these things at night. By the way, these, if you see these, touch them, they create this fluid that's like, it's a combination of ginger and like honey. It smelled so unbelievably good. Daddy Longlegs eating frogs. Those little bing sounds that you hear. Bing. That's these bing frogs. They fill up their little pouch under their chin and then go. And I watched them. They just sit there and go. Ping. And when there's like 500 of them in your near vicinity, it's pretty amazing. This is a viper. This was actually a young viper that was in a tree right next to us. Super poisonous, and especially because they are so young, they don't know how to control their venom outtake, so they will just give you all the venom when they bite you. He was far enough away we weren't going to get bit or anything like that from him. But yeah. We were right there in all the nature kind of stuff, seeing this stuff. We saw other frogs. So I had my macro lens with me. This is another snake. I believe he's poisonous too. I'm not positive. Huge crickets. I love that frog. He's so cool. This is a bullet ant. Towards the end of the tour, the guy went over to the back of this tree and there's a whole colony of bullet ants. And these are about that big. I kid you not. And they are known for having the most painful sting of any insect on the planet. They say that it's 35 times more painful than a wasp. It's called a bullet ant because when they sting you, it basically feels like you put a gun to that part of your body and shot a bullet. And the pain will last for hours and hours and hours. The second most painful sting is this tarantula hawk. And they sting because they get picked up by birds and then they sting the bird. It's a really painful sting. The birds drop them. But the sting goes away fairly quickly because it's just meant to be, ow, and you let go. For some reason, these guys, their sting, when they sting you, and we had a guy that was a guide later on that had worked in the national parks and had been stung numerous times by these. And he's like, it's unbelievably painful. So it was crazy to see these guys right there. But very cool. There's another one just about to release the bing. And more. So the field recorder was used all sorts of places. This is just before we left. And then we drove to get to our next location. We had a rental car. And we drove through some clouds, some of the areas. It was beautiful. I mean, the land there is just stunning. So these are some of the things we saw on our next destination. What we did next was we went from here. We had to go back on this road through Quesada all the way down to here. And then we had to take the one, which became the 131. Then we had to drive all of this. And down here, the driving is insane. It's one-lane roads. There's trucks doing 20 miles an hour. I kid you not. You get behind them. You're kind of stuck. Tarcoles is famous because of a bridge. They have this bridge. Let's see, that's here. Where they have alligators. Let's see, no, that's, where is it at? Is it earlier? I think it's earlier. Let me see, where's my... Yeah, so they have this bridge you come to. And you park your car. And you hop off and you walk over to the middle of this big bridge. And straight below you are all these alligators just hanging out. And I like this one because he's got a butterfly over here on his head. Isn't that cute? I mean, there's trucks and cars coming by, so there's no ambience from these guys to record per se. But still, it was cool to see these. These is from this national park we went to. I'll get to that in a minute. So we were in Quepos, is our final destination. We drove all this way through Tarcoles, the Tarcoles Bridge, down here, around here, to where's right here, Quepos. So let's put another pin so we can see this is where the majority of the rest of the trip. This is when we still had like 10 days left on the trip. It was an amazing trip. So we were here. We did the whitewater rafting. We went up to La Fortuna, and now we're over here on the Pacific side. And this was a really cool area. Manuel Antonio is known for having monkeys. Oh, wait. So check this out. We'd rented a car. This is the drive on just the drive. The roads I told you are insane, right? They're steep, they're crazy, they're twisty. This is the drive to the parking area of the place we're staying at. So look at this hill that we have to drive every time we come in and out of here. So it's gated security. This is almost straight up. People fall on this when they're walking. And then look at this turn. In the rain, it's insane. And we stayed up here. So it was just crazy. Crazy, crazy. The view. Let's see. Do I have a picture of the view out of this place? No, I didn't do that. We got the following morning. The famous thing out here in Quepos is right here is this beautiful national park called Manuel Antonio National Park. All this area right here. It's beautiful. It's a little built up because so many people go there. So you drive this road and you end up in this area. There's little shops and gift shops and stuff like that. And then you park. And then there's trails in and then down to the beach here. And I highly recommend this area. It's beautiful. For breakfast, these guys were hanging out in the trees next to us, eating their dates, just eating like crazy. We did the walk through Manuel Antonio with a guide, which is highly helpful. So he pointed to all sorts of things that were happening in the trees, to the insects. These are rainbow grasshoppers, all got in a line for me. Another one of these spiders. By the way, these spiders, where is it? Is it this one? Yeah. This is the male and this is the female. The females tend to kill the males after they've mated. So, bummer. I love this, just chilling on a leaf. Hummingbird was resting for a little bit there. A sloth in the trees above us, and he was hanging out, chewing on a leaf while hanging upside down. And if you zoom in, there's like all sorts of colonies of insects and stuff living on him. It's pretty amazing. We got to the beach. Beautiful beach. Too many people, so I didn't record any ambiences here because there's just voices everywhere. And when you got a recorder and it's fairly sensitive, you have to be in places that don't have talking. And so this was more just to see and to appreciate this area. The sunsets are known for being pretty insane for up in this on this coast side. So that was what the sunsets looked like at night from this really cool lookout that we found. Took a crazy drive. The car just about didn't make it up this hill to get to this point. And from here, there was no one around, so I did record some ambiences here. So that would be the La Fortuna. Let's see here. It's not the mountain natural ambience. Oh, this is Quepos. Stream. So the stream is kind of in the distance. This is closer to the stream. And it's interesting, I have a windsock for this. And if you do have a windsock, make sure you do some of both with and without, because here's with the windsock and here's without. Same place. So much more high end. But I almost prefer it with the sock because it tapers that high end so you hear more of the other mid-high frequency animals and stuff. The sock actually kind of hides them. Hear how much more high end there is? But you can't hear that nice subtle in-between stuff. So it's nice to go try a little bit of both. When we were in Manuel Antonio, I did record at a restaurant because it's kind of cool. So the recorder I'm using, I'll keep pointing it out because it's an awesome recorder. This is the Tascam DR100 Mark III, which records at 192 kilohertz audio. It records to an SD card that hangs out right here. It's very easy to pull it out, pop it in to your computer. I got a really cool accessory. This right here. It's from it's called the Geek Go card reader. This thing. It has a USB port, a lightning port, and then it has card readers. And so with this, you can copy to or from an iPad or an iPhone audio files. So if you have a phone with a lot of memory available, you can, or you want to back up the photos from your camera, this is incredible. It doesn't require iTunes or any of that crap. There's a free app you can download for your iPhone or whatever, and you just plug it in, you put a card in, and you can transfer from the photo library 250 photos at a time if you want to get them onto the card, then move the card over. So all my iPhone photos of the trip, I copied those over. Oh, those are down in the master thing. We won't go there. So those are really cool accessories if you are doing that kind of stuff. Now we come to a really cool twist in the road, because it just so happens this company, because I'm on the internet, I sell to the world, right? And one of the customers of mine happens to live on the Pacific in Costa Rica. And he lives actually south of here in an area called Dominical. So if we were to get onto our trusty little car, you got to drive out to this highway way out here, and you drive all the way down here, and you keep going, and you keep going. It's a 50-minute drive or so down here to Dominicalito, right? And right here is this road that you can take, which leads up into the mountains. And Lynn, this awesome customer, now good friend of mine, invited me to his house up in the mountains of Costa Rica. He's like, you should come see what real Costa Rica is like. Those other places are nice, but they're pretty touristy and stuff. This is his view out of his house. I mean, it is just true paradise, what he has going on. He and his wife manage bands in the United States that play for weddings and events and stuff while living in Costa Rica. So he's got that wired out. All this land you see, all the way down to like here, all this, the hill, the rainforest, he owns all of it. 29 acres or something like that. Just unbelievable. And so he took us around and showed us. We had incredible drives. Let's do this. If I go to here, open a new tab. Let's see here. If I go to see like this, and go to, where's my photo library? Costa Rica. Here's the Capos. Let's go to thumbnails like this. His views. I got to show you some of this. It is just mind-blowing. Let's look like that. So here's just a couple of the other views from where he lives. Let's get down here towards the end. We got really nice dramatic lighting on the way back. So here's that same view, but with really cool lighting. And this is like a caldera on the other side of that tree. It's like the center of the volcano. This used to be a whole volcano way back in the day, right? So he took us to a waterfall called Eco Chantales, which has an incredible look to it. I'll show you. Let's see. These are not processed in any way. This is straight out of my camera. But this is Eco Chantales. There's a little hike down to get here. My daughter was very adventurous and set herself up in a really cool place for a really cool photo. So I have photos like this and like this of her looking at this unbelievable waterfall. Lynn paid for us to see this waterfall and also get lunch. So after seeing this is below the waterfall, we were seated at this little tiny tented area. And the most amazing meal I had in Costa Rica was served with this unbelievable, that fried chicken smokes every fried chicken I have had anywhere on the planet. It had chopped up palm, beans, macaroni salad, the salad itself, everything, the flavors were just completely banging you on the head because this was the view that you had while you were eating. This is this whole canyon going up of rainforest. It's just unbelievable. The drive to get here required him to bring out his trusty, he has this really cool four-wheel drive. Check this out. So if I go like, oh yeah, there it is right there. So this is the car that we drove in. It's a 1978 Land Cruiser, rebuilt. The thing, nothing would stop it. It could go straight up a cliff, basically. It was really amazing. So we used that. I recorded ambiances while we were there. The waterfall itself is just beautiful sounding. So here's Eco Chantales. And down 3 octaves. It's beautiful. It required a fairly strenuous hike to get down to this. So halfway up the hike back, I recorded the distant waterfall with nature. Also, when we got to the top of the hike, there was a cow. And somebody needed to milk it. She was not happy. So she's doing those, come over here and milk me, please. I'm in pain. And that's her husband saying, I agree. And again, you take these and so these will be fun to play with. I have all sorts of, oh, by the way, a Plugin Guru customer has released an iPad app that's really cool. You guys should know about. I told him I would give him a shout out because he sent it to me to evaluate, and I was really impressed. It's right here. It's called Spacecraft Granular. And it's all touch based. You touch and drag to change the settings. This is a low pass, high pass filter, the pitch, all this stuff. Oh, these guys are still here playing, so I should pause. So I highly recommend this. It's incredible sounding. It supports inter-app recording, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Sonic Sculpture. It's a great, great, great sound tool. So I anticipate there will be some sounds in the final library that will have been made within Spacecraft. That's my guess, because it's that good. So I want to give a shout out to him. It's only like $4, something like that. It's really great sounding. So moving on, continuing our trip here, we had the chance to do the drive. When we went to Eco Tantalas, it required, let me do this real quick. It required a drive over bridges that were barely the width of the car. We crossed the stream on the way back. The sights and stuff were beautiful. Here's a field recorder being used. This is used to record mountain ambience. So if we come over here to these mountain natural ambiences, that's the sound I'm recording right now. And you hear hummingbird, flies, birds, bugs. So much life. There's literally like probably 40 different things making sounds in this right now. I haven't processed these yet, but here's my field recorder at the ocean. It's beautiful ocean, beautiful sounds, crickets in the background screaming like insanity. I'm getting eaten alive by these sandflies and no-see-em bugs. The following day, Hannah and myself went to another waterfall, which is considered like the #1 most grandiose waterfall in Costa Rica. And that's this. It's called Nayuca. And it's on private property. There's a family that actually own this waterfall. And Eco Chantalas is owned by a family. And so when you go there, you're paying a ticket to access to go see the waterfall, and they're making lunch for you. They have a service which included a lunch. I didn't take them up on that, but they would take you back to a house halfway after being here for 2 hours and feed you lunch. I didn't take them up on that offer. But we rode on a 4-wheel drive for like 4 miles to get here. There's the upper tier that you could get to and photograph. So I took some pictures of the upper portion before going down to the lower portion. And these rocks are super slippery, but it was very fun to crawl across them and get set up. And so my daughter had to afford me just a little bit of time to get out my camera and do some more. Most of these photos are just kind of fun, take them while I'm walking and stuff. But here, tripod, longer exposures, taking the time to get it set up to try to get nice photos. So I still have audio to process that I have not processed. There's a couple more of these sounds. The night whistler. I have no idea what creature this is, but listen to this. That whistle is so unique. Again, these can easily be turned into all sorts of cool other things. Yes, daughter was very patient. I mean, she's been with me for a long time, right? 17 years now. So she knows how things work. She was awesome. There's places where we would set up. We did this incredible hike. Check out these photos. Went back at the volcano, La Fortuna. We went and saw, do I have the pictures here? They might be on another folder. Yeah, we did. I don't have them here, but check this out. We went to the national park by the volcano there. And we did this walk to just, let's see, this is La Fortuna, right? Oh, this is on the iPhone, so I gotta go back here to the iPhone photos. There's, at the end of this walk, there's two places. Oh, by the way, here's field recording at Nayuka Waterfall. So I recorded there. But there's this walk. I want to show you. Oh, come on. Where's it at? We did this walk. Here we are at the national volcano, and it's raining a little bit. Check out how tall the grass is here around us. It's just insane. I'm trying to reach up and not even close. And we got to a part we had this volcano area, so here we are enjoying the volcano area. But this is what's even cooler. There's this 400-year-old tree that's just massive in size. I mean, just hard to imagine. I did a panorama sideways to give you a perspective of how high up this goes. I believe I heard somewhere that someone said this was the type of tree that was the inspiration for the tree in Avatar. We saw plants that you touch them and they immediately wither in. Immediately. All sorts of things that were just like, you'd never seen this before. So just unbelievable places to see the lands that we saw. Is there anything else here? Oh, the zip lines. So we got ready for doing zip lines. Check this out. We had these things on. They actually took pictures for us. I paid for. This is at the volcano. They have. I rented you can put a GoPro on your head. Unfortunately, it rained enough that the video footage just had too much raindrops on it. But check this out, guys. This is over a half mile long, over 50 miles an hour, hanging on, flying over the canopy of the rainforest. Just unbelievable. Here's me before I know what I'm about to get into. But you hang on and you're just, it's you hanging on. They've got this strap on, so if you let go, you would still not fall and stuff like that. You're safe. But it's an insane feeling. I won't forget that for a very long time. So it was a trip of a lifetime. Had a great time. I'm really happy to bring back audio that I can share and turn into something that I have in my mind as being really special. It's going to take some work and development. I'm not going to do just a sound effect library. These will be there, and maybe I will make a separate library that's like this clean version, but there's more to do to this than just what it is. Oh, here's the national park. Just insane. There's dueling crickets on two sides of this path. There was pissed off birds and then really angry birds. Someone was trying to steal somebody's eggs, I think, because they got super unhappy. Lightly raining. And again, down low they can become something else. So we'll see what they turn into. I'm just giving you a fun preview, a summary of the trip. It was such a great experience. So I think we're going to stop there. I'm going to wait to show you guys the OMG library when I have it ready to show you in its final state. We're still building it. It takes a long time to build an OMG library, as you know. And even though this is urban, it's useful for a lot of other genres and styles and ways to use it. So I will be plugging all sorts of thoughts into your mind on that kind of stuff. Any questions? Made it out alive. Yeah. Is anyone noticing Omnisphere 2 not rendering audio correctly in PreSonus? That would be something I would send a note to Spectrasonics tech support if that is truly the case. It's a type of grass for that tall stuff. It's not bamboo. Spacecraft is up and loaded. Good. He's a really nice guy, the developer. Really cool guy. I'm glad you guys like that. It was an amazing trip. When you're using Airbnb, most of those places are like $100 a night. And I'll tell you, I've done enough hotel travel. I didn't want to feel like a visitor. I wanted to feel like I was living there. And by living in houses and all that kind of stuff. Oh, Jason, glad to hear it. He purchased the Mega Macho drums for Contact. He's having fun. Thank you. Very proud of that. It's that ability to change the drum sounds independently so quickly and to put your own sounds into it. It's a great time. Yeah, you can skip the night trip if you want, but it was really revealing to see and understand what is out there making those sounds. They don't do that a lot of times during the day. So it was one of those things where to see them at night, you can see what's really happening, you know? During the daytime, they're resting and sleeping and all that kind of stuff when it's hot. Oh, yeah. Yeah, people love Mega Macho drums. It's now called Super Macho drums. And it's got more kits added to it and all that kind of stuff. So make sure, let's see, where's it? Jason, make sure you're on Super Macho drums, right? Not just Mega Macho drums. Because Super Macho drums has added kits. It's not got a serial number attached, so you can easily put it into quick load and stuff like that. And it's cheaper that way to have it that way. By the way, there's a 30% off weekend sale at my site for this weekend. I would appreciate greatly if you guys need to buy any libraries. I'm having some difficult discussions with the tax man, so thank you for any support you can have in my efforts to get that all straightened out. You would not believe that, you know, you make money, you got to pay taxes, but man, it's insane. So there's a nice sale if you're interested and getting some packets of inspiration. Yeah, good, Jason. Good. All right. Any other questions? We're going to wrap it up. Again, I won't be here next week because I'm going to a family reunion. Yeah. We don't like the T word around here. I don't know many people that do. But it was a great trip. Use Airbnb or one of those where you are able to stay in people's houses. It makes it so much more organic and that you're living there. You need to go buy food, cook for yourselves. You're in the environment in a way that's not when you're at the hotels behind the fence and the beautiful manicured yards and up on the hill and you're in a place with 30 other people. I mean, I know that's one time we did that like the last night before we came back. We did that, and it's definitely different than living in a house, 300 yards from the ocean, I mean, it's a whole different thing. I did miss you all terribly, Tim. Big time. Thought of you guys a lot. If I could have done a live stream from there, I definitely would have. It would have been fun, but the internet reception is spotty. A lot of the time, I'm using my phone as a hotspot type of thing. It's crazy, but it was a really great adventure. This is the start of many. I'm going to start a new series based on this one. There will be more coming to this. I have other places I want to go see, experience, capture audio from, see what I can do to turn it into things beyond just the audio that you capture. And I'll be sharing with you tricks on sound design to natural ambiances because it's a really fun area to explore. These are sounds that are great. Like I showed you, just layering this with a pad. Any of these sounds, no matter, I'm going to open up my polyphony because it canceled out really quick and I didn't like that. But just to take this, Angry Birds, and know? And then there's other things you could do to this by just simply adding an LFO that's pulsing or something like that. You immediately take it into a whole different category. It's like no longer sync it up and make it be eighth notes. It becomes something that you can use. Another trick that's really fun is to do something like this, where you have a pulse that's 100%, right? But I want this to also have another LFO. Sync it to be like, say, 4. Doing stuff like this so you get things that will be there, evolve, have a rhythm. You know, you could so take that, quantize that, loop it. Oh wait, am I off? Oh, I was off by a beat. So let's go up to there, there. Since you guys were talking about it, let's fix that one note. All right, so then go over here. Browser go away. And just a and you don't notice it's an ambience at this point. It's more like just this cool noise thing that's adding something to the track. So you know? And if you wanted to go into a more progressive side of things, you could go to a cool bass sound or something like that. I mean, there's so many places you could go with it. But by treating ambiences in cool ways inside of synthesis, you can go to really cool places. So that will be stuff we explore. Maybe later this year. It might be next year. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I'm working on for this year. But I wanted to share the trip and the fun that we had and get you guys all excited about it. Mega Rica. Doesn't quite ring quite right, but I like that. That's a nice. I'm not going to tell you the name yet because I don't want somebody else to steal it before I let it out. But it's a pretty cool name. I actually was going to name my band, if I ever had a band, this name. So that's how cool of a name I think it is, that I'm putting that name into what I do for a living because it's a good name. So we'll talk about that when it's time to talk about that. No live stream next week. The following week, I'm pretty sure by then I should have OMG Urban done. So we'll be looking at how to get some OMG Urban into your music productions and how much fun it is to have these cool subs and these cool grooves, integrate them in with other things, other libraries, and it just becomes like, oh my God, this is insane. So we'll be opening up those types of doors in the future. Any other questions? Mega Costa mucho money. Okay, it's not a mucho money. It's not inexpensive, but it was fairly reasonable to put this together to happen. And again, it was just one of those things I really was looking forward to doing with my daughter. So we had a good time. So on to August. Want to buy urban. Cheers. Yes. Well, I'll be getting it done when I get it done. I don't let stuff out until it's ready. You know, that's how it works. So we've got all sorts of stuff in the works. So stay tuned. And thank you for your support as always. Let's do a shout out. We haven't done a shout out in a while. So I'm shouting out from Portland, Oregon. Big E, you better be shouting out. Shout out from PDX. Any more add-ons for Super Macho drums for Contact in the future? That might be a possibility, Jason. Urban came out as an add-on for Super Macho drums. And we might be... I don't have anything planned at the moment, but hang on. We'll see what happens. Portland, Holland, Bavaria, North Carolina, alive and kicking. Nice to hear that, Bill. Woot! Shout out from Ord. All right, Chris. Ottawa, Canada, Norway, Germany, the Bernie Lowlands. Nice talk with Bernie yesterday. They have some really cool things in the plans for the ESC part of the Plugin Guru family. So I'm very proud of them, what they're doing. Beth in London. Right on, dude. Dude. Beth, dude, right on. Tim Dale in the UK. Right on, my friend. All right, I will talk to you all. We'll see you in 2 weeks. And I hope you have a great 2 weeks. I don't know what ORD is. Chris, is ORD Chicago? Oh, yep. Cool. All right. Rotterdam, right on, human. Good to see you. All right, be well. May the groove be with you always. See you later. Bye.